I'm a founding member of the Women's Intercultural Board. Proud to say it's become from a program into a campaign to grow, and now it really is a movement. Support for women and girls around the nation. We are planning to increase our circles, to look to young women to take our places as we all go forward. I'm Gale James. I'm proud to say I'm a founding member of the Women's Intercultural Board. I first met Marilyn Fowler in 1976 when we were working on a women's project for the bicentennial celebrations. By 1994, Marilyn recognized the need to create an alignment between local needs and global needs. We looked around for an international conference, and Marilyn found one, Women in Development, and she managed to create 12 women who wanted to go to an international conference where Women's Intercultural Network was born. Women's Intercultural Network took great advantage of the Fourth World Conference for Women, sponsored by the United Nations in Beijing, China. Marilyn was one of the first to create a technological breakthrough with Apple Computer and Pacific Bell so that there would be coverage and women had internet access, connected locally and globally. From that came the California Women's Agenda, which was implemented through WIN via Marilyn Fowler's vision that the 12 principles of the Beijing Platform for Action for Women could be implemented, actually not just held as tenets and good policy, but actual practice at the local level. And so all of those 12 principles, which include education, employment, empowerment, health. So it was a very impactful project to bring WIN supervising the California's Women's Agenda, implementing the plan for action that came out of the Fourth World Conference. And so from that, Women's Intercultural Network and Marilyn Fowler became known for actually doing human rights at the local level. And her connection brought her into further work with the United Nations and the Commission on the Status of Women. And there were other leaders there, other visionaries, who came to Marilyn and said, we want to use your model for implementing the CEDAW treaty at the local level. And so Marilyn was one of the founders of that initiative, which has now grown from 2014 to 2024, which is a 10th year anniversary. We have grown from one city and one county to almost 100 cities and counties at varying levels of commitment to the CEDAW principles, which initiated the Beijing Platform for Women. And so CEDAW, the Convention for the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, has come to be the hallmark, one of the signature programs of Women's Intercultural Network. And we're proud to say it's become from a program into a campaign to grow, and now it really is a movement that has a life of its own and is very successful. Along the way, WIN has grown itself in its interests. One of our early connections was with the indigenous community in California through Charlie Toledo, a president of the Susquehanna Tribal Nation, and so she really brought indigenous interests and to WIN, and WIN has created the Indigenous Circle, which has now evolved into climate and environmental issues, social justice and the environment work, and is doing wonderful work on new thinking about and solutions for our climate crisis. And so WIN became famous for that concept of circles. And we started the Afghan Circle after Marilyn Fowler acquired a State Department grant to take a group of women to Afghanistan. And then the next year bring a group of Afghan women to California for touring and interaction. And that's what the Women's Intercultural Network is. We want to create more dialogue, more connections among women at all levels. And from that came the Uganda trip. A group of women associated with WIN took a trip to Uganda in Northern Africa, and they worked very hard on a land acquisition and other rights that needed support and connection, and we have stayed connected. The Uganda Circle is still working. And in addition, there's a Japanese group that went to tour Japan and connected with professional women there and brought a group here to California. And so the Afghan Circle, Japan Circle, Uganda Circle, Indigenous Circle, and now we have, of course, the Iranian American Circle called IC-WIN, Iranian Circle of WIN, and it has a very strong, independent, large membership that does wonderful programming, especially with the United Nations at the Commission of the Status of Women. And from that, we're celebrating a 30-year anniversary of the organization that we're very proud of. Despite challenges and issues arising for all NGOs, we've had special challenges, but we have persisted, as we like to say, we have persisted and endured, and now we're able to celebrate a 30th anniversary alongside the 10th anniversary of Cities for CEDAW. To account for its success, we would have to say it's partially the power of that vision that human rights for women can be implemented at the local level in the cities and counties, not just in faraway zones where we're only talking about human rights in a very abstract level. This is practical, doable ways to implement support for women and girls around the nation. And so as we celebrate that, we look forward to the next 10 years. We are planning to increase our circles, to look to young women to take our places as we all go forward, and as we carry the torch Marilyn Fowler passed on to us, we are also looking to pass those torches, the many torches of Women's Intercultural Network, on to young women of our times into the future.